If you're somebody who is working very hard to get back into shape, to keep a solid fitness routine, and you're trying to figure out how to make a schedule that you can get in your weightlifting, your strength training, but also adding in yoga into your wellness routine, I want to talk today a little bit about how to put together a schedule that will work for you, that allows you to lift weights and do yoga and not go super duper crazy like you're working out all of the time. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather, and I make videos about yoga and fitness for those of us in midlife who are working hard to build strong, healthy bodies that will carry us well into our 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. So let's get to it. Now, if you are somebody who you could really be one of two people. You might be somebody, actually three. Let's do a three. You could be one of three people. You're somebody who you've been weightlifting and you want to add yoga in. You've discovered yoga. You like yoga. How do I do both? Maybe you're somebody that you've been doing yoga regularly. You love yoga. And now you're like, you know what? I keep hearing I need to be doing weightlifting and strength training. How do I bring both of those together? Or you're somebody that you're like, you know what? I'm in this phase of life where I know I need to do something. And I really want to explore this idea of lifting weights, but also doing yoga. You might be new to both. How do you bring those together? Okay. So the very simple, answer that I will give you to be able to do strength training and yoga without going super crazy is you look at your week. Okay. So we've all got 7 days in a week, and you can break that up into different days focused on different things. So let's say you are doing a weight training routine, a 3-day-a-week weight training routine. Maybe you're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You probably are doing something like full body workouts. Maybe you're going to a fitness boot camp. Maybe you're going to the gym and you're doing upper body, lower body, core, abs, that kind of thing. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay. Now, the simplest answer here is you could do yoga on Tuesday and Thursday. You can do yoga on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. You can do yoga on Sunday. All right. So you would add it in on a day that you are not doing strength training. Okay. And that is really going to be the most time efficient way that you can do it. I will say that before I became this person that practiced yoga every single day, Sunday was always my day. When I was first getting into fitness competitions and, lifting weights anywhere between 4 and 6 days a week, Sunday was always my day to do yoga. Now, you want to think about with yoga is there's different kinds of yoga. There's different styles of yoga. There's a very big difference between doing something like yoga sculpt or yoga conditioning, yoga with weights or yoga and weights, power yoga, some of these really high intensity, maybe even hot yoga. And then there's a very big difference between that style of yoga and then more restorative type of yoga or yin yoga, where you might get into a yoga pose and hold it for 15 minutes. Okay. So that's going to be more like something for active recovery. Now, if you're going to do yoga and you're going to add that in, like let's just say you do Monday, Wednesday, Friday weights, and then you're going to do yoga on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you might explore those different styles of yoga, understanding that there's different levels of intensity with those kinds of yoga. You want to make sure that you're building in rest days, and a rest day could include restorative yoga where you come into a pose and you hold it for 10 minutes, you're holding it for 15 minutes. Now, if you are somebody who like you've been doing yoga, you're doing yoga every single day, or you're doing yoga, 4 days a week or something, and you're trying to figure out, well, where do I fit strength training in there? Same thing applies here. If you're doing yoga, say you're doing yoga Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you can add in strength training on Tuesday and Thursday. You can do nice, good, solid full body workouts Tuesdays and Thursdays, and maybe even on Saturdays. So you can break up your week. If you've got 7 days in a week, plan one day as a rest day. You should take a rest day. Also knowing that the style of yoga that you do might be that active recovery. It might be something that you're doing, these poses for a lengthy period of time. And then fill in yoga on those off days. Fill in strength training on those off days. So that's probably the simplest answer, is to take your week, your 7-day week, break it up into these are the days I'm going to do strength training. These are the days that I'm going to do yoga. Decide how many days you want to do yoga. How many days do you want to do strength training? And then build that in. Now, as you become more fit, you've spent more time doing yoga. You spent more time doing weight training. You might get to a point where you start to do yoga and weightlifting in the same day. And what I do suggest is that you do weightlifting separate from yoga throughout the day. So for example, I lift weights 5 days a week, sometimes 4 days a week. And I've tried to practice yoga every single day. Practicing yoga might be going to the yoga studio and doing a class. It might be doing a class at the gym. It might be doing, 10 or 15 minutes of yoga at home. It can vary. And so, I've been lifting weights for a very long time. I've been practicing yoga for a very long time. And so what I've done is I get up in the morning, I get my weight training sessions done in the morning. And then after my weight training session, that's where I'll kind of play around and practice some of the more challenging poses that I'm working on getting my body into. For example, right now I'm working on something called a Pincha Mayurasana or a forearm stand. And so what I'll do is after I'm done at the gym, I've done my weight training for the day, I'll go into the yoga studio and, my body's warmed up, my spine is nice and warmed up, and I'll work on that pose. I will work on some of the other more challenging poses that, that just take a little bit of work, take a little bit of effort to get your body into. So that's what I'll do like immediately after I'm done lifting weights. But then if I'm going to do a yoga class, I'll do that at the end of the day. I'll do that later on. So I might do it, right after I'm done with work for the day, or maybe right before I go to bed. So I've got a period of time in between my weight training session and my yoga session. I don't necessarily do yoga right before I go to lift weights. I don't necessarily do weights right before I go do yoga. So those are some tips, some ideas, some strategies on how to incorporate yoga and strength training into your wellness routine, how to make it fit so you're not going super crazy and make it work within your lifestyle. So if you found this video helpful, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, share it with somebody who you think might find it helpful. Check out my other videos that I have here on strength training, on yoga, on healthy living for those of us, who are just, we're living our best life, trying to make sure that we can continue doing the things we love to do into our 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. Talk to you soon.